In this edition of RPPV News, more local COVID exposure sites bring the virus close to home, a call to protect our giant spider crabs, and the Winter Wine Festival is temporarily corked. Hello, I'm Catie Sharp. Welcome to the latest edition of RPPV News, bringing you stories from across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula. As case numbers soar with the virulent new strain of COVID-19, we are in lockdown for another week. More local exposure sites have been added to the list, which at the time of recording includes the Enchanted Maze in Arthur's Seat, Peninsula Hot Springs in Fingal, and Subway in Rye. Traces of the virus have also been found in Peninsula wastewater catchments between Safety Beach and Portsea. The Department of Health and Human Services stated that while these unexpected detections may be due to someone who has had COVID-19 and is no longer infectious, it is also possible that it is due to an active but undiagnosed infectious case. People who live in or who visited these areas who have or develop COVID symptoms are urged to get tested. The second week of lockdown has come with some small but welcome changes. The 5-kilometre exercise and shopping limit has been extended to 10 kilometres. Our schools have welcomed back its VCE students, and outdoor jobs like landscaping and painting have been given the all clear as long as you socially distance. Regional restrictions are easing, but as we are still counted as metropolitan Melbourne, that doesn't include Frankston or the Peninsula. The state government has added another $200 million to its business assistance packages and has called on the federal government to support individuals by reviving the JobKeeper allowance. So let's keep spending locally. Our businesses need our help. The other important thing we can do is get vaccinated. Go to health.gov.au to find the next available appointment. Meanwhile, local police want to remind people that the police assistance line does not provide advice about coronavirus. The service does take reports for suspected breaches of public health restrictions, such as isolation breaches, mass gatherings and business breaches. But for COVID-related questions, call the Department of Health's hotline or visit their website. The March of the Giant Spider Crabs is nearly upon us, and Mornington Peninsula Shire and local action groups are fighting to protect them. Each year, thousands of the crabs travel to Rye and Blairgowrie to molt, but in the past few years, hundreds of the crabs have been caught by people using nets. This year, the Shire is demanding a fishing exclusion zone for the crabs between May and July, and are reaching out to the state and federal governments as well as Victoria Fisheries Authority to protect the creatures from overfishing. The VFA has temporarily reduced catch limits from 30 to 15 spider crabs per person and increased location signage. This is not seen as a long-term solution as it will be difficult to enforce. The council wants a seasonal no-take zone exclusively for the giant spider crab, similar to that which was used to protect rays in the bay. Deputy Mayor Councillor Sarah Ray spoke to RPPFM about why she is driving the issue and what we can do to help.
Our concern is that the spider crabs come in to aggregate, and they do this so that they're protected during the molting period to protect them from predators. And then the irony is that we come in at this time when they need absolute protection and just plunder them, and that seems disgraceful to us. There are plenty out in the bay, but this time is a very important time for the spider crabs.
So what can we do, Sarah, to support you and the rest of the council who are obviously opposed to this overfishing of the spider crab? What can we do? How do we get involved?
Well, you can join the Spider Crab Alliance. They've got a Facebook page that people can join up with them because they're doing a great job at collecting information and advocating up towards Spring Street. And also write to local MPs, like write to Chris Brain and write to Greg Hunt, who can advocate from a federal position on our behalf, and let them know just what our locals think of the plundering of the spider crabs.
A new Melbourne University research paper on strategic planning for Melbourne's green wedges has been highly critical of the Ross Trust proposed new quarry on Arthur's Seat. Associate Professor Janet Stanley and Professor John Stanley state that biodiversity and socio-ecological values should be given priority over quarrying on land with high natural values. They identify the site as an important koala habitat and breeding ground and estimate some 28 endangered species are present or likely to be present. They also found that the area contains what is likely to be the oldest eucalyptus trees on the peninsula, providing important nesting locations for the threatened powerful owl. As granite resources are available elsewhere from locations closer to demand, the paper concludes the proposed new quarry is thus essentially about the future revenue stream and profitability of the proponent, the Ross Trust, rather than about meeting future Victorian demand for a scarce resource. Local action group Save Arthur's Seat welcomed the report. In light of the current lockdown, the Peninsula's annual Winter Wine Festival has moved from the Queen's Birthday weekend to July the 24th. Since the 1980s, the festival has shown off the best wine the Peninsula has to offer. This year, 45 wineries will be exhibiting over 200 premium wines at the Red Hill Showgrounds. To maintain social distancing, guests will be divided into 3 groups that will circulate between 3 sheds. Local favourites Red Hill Cheese and Brew Up Coffee will also be there. The weekend was cancelled in 2020, so if you can come and support our local vignerons, please do. If you've already bought a ticket, it will transfer to the new date. And after the break, we'll have Patricia with the coming week's lockdown weather report.
There's a quiet revolution happening on the rooftops of Australia. And at Solar Heart, we're proud to be leading the charge. One home, one family, one solar panel at a time. Helping smart Aussies make a real difference to the planet, cutting their energy bills and connecting them to their smart energy future. Get smart. Get Solar Heart.
RPPV and Bendigo Bank have a long-standing relationship. Without the Bendigo Bank, we wouldn't have a transmitter site, we wouldn't have a studio, we wouldn't have an outside broadcast van, and without them, we can't tell the stories that we think the Bendigo Bank community, our community, needs to hear.
Thanks, Bendigo Bank.
Thanks for your support.
Hello, I'm Patricia, and welcome to this week's RPPV Mornington Peninsula 7-day weather forecast. As you can see, I am down at my local shops supporting local businesses. I know that many of our shopkeepers are finding this new lockdown extremely challenging, so please help by supporting your local businesses. Turning to the weather, we saw conditions improve during this week, and we had a few warmer days than expected. That's unlikely to be the case this week, however, with much more rain on its way. Today, Saturday the 5th of June, brings us a cool day with an 80% chance of rain. We should reach a top of 14 and a low of 6. Sunday sees the rain decreasing somewhat, bringing us a low of 7 and a top of 16. Monday is set to be the best day of the week. It will be mostly overcast with only a 20% chance of rain. Expect a top of 17 and a low of 9. Tuesday sees the rain returning. Up to 20 millimeters is expected. We will only reach a top of 13 and a chilly low of 7. Wednesday continues the chilly trend with rain continuing. We will be rugging up to that low of 5 and a high of 13. Thursday the 10th of June sees the rain backing off somewhat but still present. Winds southeasterly 20 to 30 kilometers an hour. We will be expecting a low of 5 and a top of 14. And finally, Friday brings a steady rain throughout the day with a top of 15 and a low of 6. Well, that's all for this week. Please remember that while you are out this week within your 10-kilometer zones, pop into your local stores and support our local traders. They really need our custom at this time. Until next week, stay warm and take good care of yourselves.
And now to our surfing guru Muzz with the Surf Report.
Morning guys, it's Muzz here, back with this week's Mornington Peninsula Surf Report. Great start to winter. You probably wouldn't even know when we're getting 20-degree days, and pretty good beach break conditions. Today's Thursday. Again, we are expecting a wind change sometime this afternoon or this evening, but tomorrow we should get a pretty big increase in swell, and wind-wise should be alright for waves in Western Port, and that should run right through till about Monday, when we'll get a big cold burst change with southwesterlies, probably snow, 12 degrees, cold, horrible, and 10k limit, so a few more people back in the water. There's a lot of people who are well out of their 10k zone, guys, so word on the street this weekend is there'll be a few police patrols around just checking where you're from, so just be a bit aware of that, guys. So if you can hunt down surf, you will get surf, and it will be very good at different times. Constant swell right through next week. I think after the initial change Wednesday, we'll probably go back to westerlies or northwesterlies, so you will be able to get in the water most days. Right, enjoy, get through the lockdown, it's nearly done. If we all get jabbed, if we all do our bits and pieces, it'll all be over sooner than not. So have fun, take care, we'll see you next week.
And that's all from our team here at RPPV News, serving the community with stories that matter to you. Keep watching and do tell your friends. Stay home, stay safe, and get vaccinated if you can. Bringing you the news from coast to coast across Frankston and the Mornington Peninsula, I'm Catie Sharp. See you for the next edition.